Hello all and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I am here holding a plate with a banana on it to talk about some things in Ponytown that when you see them, when you see these things in Ponytown, you will never be able to unsee them. I am about to just ruin your experience in Ponytown forever. That's right, you've been warned. I made a video like this a long time ago, back in last winter actually. Last winter I made a video about this. I talked about how like in the snow you can see faces and things like that. But today I bring with me a UFO. That's right. If you look very closely on this sign, I don't know how you can't see it, but this looks so much like a UFO. This little thing on the sign, it is supposed to be directing you to the forest. It's apparently supposed to be depicting a forest, but it looks so much like a UFO, right? You have the little dome part there and the little round part around it, so the little disc, I guess you could say. It looks so much like a UFO that I feel like it was on purpose. Especially since like that doesn't even look close to a forest. Like, I feel like there's probably many better ways that could have been depicted. Another thing, a little bonus one here, this isn't on my official list, but if we actually follow this and we keep going this way, it brings us directly into the ocean. Well, not the ocean, the lake. So it's not even directing us to a proper forest. I guess it's trying to point you towards this forest right here, because if we follow this trail, I guess if we follow this trail and keep going down this trail, we'll eventually get into a forest. But I just find it funny that it's like, hey, go right, and then you go right, and it eventually just drops you off in a lake. The next thing on this list of things that once you see them, you can't unsee them in Ponytown is, I think when you see this, it's going to ruin some of your builds because you're going to start seeing things about your builds that you wish you wouldn't have seen. But suffice it to say, that tiny little bit of grass on those trees, this little bit of grass right here where my hoof is, you can see that grass. It is there no matter what. You can do whatever you want to trees. You can place them literally right in the middle of the ocean and they will still have grass on them no matter what. And it's something that once you see, you can't unsee, and you're going to start being like, oh, well, I need to hide that now. And you're going to start putting rocks and bushes and stuff over it if you don't want grass to be there, because you're going to very quickly realize, man, that kind of looks a little bit weird. Because why is there grass sitting in my tree regardless of what I do? And it, of course, will change with the season. So if you change the season to like summer or spring or fall or whatever like that, it'll of course change the color of that grass, but it will still have grass there no matter what. And I find that to be a very weird thing because it's something that you can't unsee, and there's nothing you can do about it. The next thing on this list also has to do with the party island. Of course, this takes place on the main island as well, but you'll never notice it because it's in the water. But if we take a look here at the party boats and zoom all the way in, you can see how there is just a very clear just cut off where it just suddenly cuts off and you can see no more of it. Obviously, when it's in the water, this doesn't matter because it is in the water. Water is covering where that would be, but now that it's above water, we should be able to see more of the object, more of this little circle bob. You should be able to see more of this shape, but you can't because it was never done. For whatever reason, it was never completed. I guess because a long time ago when they made the party boat, they were like, well, it's gonna be in the water, so we don't have to worry about this. But then we eventually got access to the party island and we started being able to customize it, and then I guess it was just either overlooked, forgotten, or just never addressed in the future. So it is just something that has been like this ever since they were added to the game, and they've never been fixed. And it's something that once you see, you really can't unsee it. It's just there, and it's kind of funny to look at. The next thing on this list is something that has to do with dirt. That's right, this stuff that I'm walking on right now, it has to do with dirt. And this is something that once I realized this, I've never been able to unsee it. This is a good enough spot for it. Once I noticed this about dirt, I honestly cannot look at dirt the same way anymore. I see it every single time, and that is these little circle things in the dirt. These little circle things like this. They're hoof prints, right? They gotta be hoof prints because they look so much like hoof prints, and whenever I see them, I'm like, ha, whose hoof prints were these? Because like just zooming in on this real quick, you can see how it fits perfectly on the hoof. It is almost the exact same shape, and it just looks so much like a hoof, and it looks like just little hoof prints in the dirt because it's like, oh, you know, people are walking on these trails and paths and stuff, so there's got to be hoof prints and stuff. So once I seen that, I can't unsee it. It just looks so much like hoof prints to me, and I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know if that was accidental, but it's something that I've seen and I cannot unsee anymore. The next thing on this list has to do with these grapevines. That's right, these grapevines. That's what these actually are, by the way. These grapevines have very prominently heart-shaped leaves, and it's something that you can't unsee. So if we zoom in here, we look very closely, you can see how that looks very much like a heart, that looks very much like a heart, and so on, all over this plant here. Same thing with this one and all of the grapevines. They all have these heart-shaped leaves, and I don't know if that's something that, you know, grape leaves are supposed to have. I don't know if that's the shape of the leaf. I don't know if that's something that I was like, oh, yeah, that... It wasn't supposed to be shaped like a heart, but I guess it kind of just looks like a heart. I don't know what the case is in this scenario, but they look very much like hearts, and it's something that I cannot unsee, because once I noticed it, well, I've not been able to unnotice it. Alrighty, now we've gone full circle back here to where I began, and where I got my plate banana, but my banana plate. This is actually where I got my banana plate, by the way. But this little spot right here is the next stop on our list of things that once you see it, you can't unsee. And you might have noticed it, but you also might not have noticed it. And that is this little wooden post right here. Let's zoom in on it right here. This little wooden post right here is much darker than every other wooden post, and I have no clue why. You might say it's because of the little torch thing that's on top of it, but if we actually look at some of these other ones, such as this one right here, that one's not dark. And if we go over here to some of these other ones, such as this one's not dark, this one's not dark, and so on. None of these other ones are dark. It is literally just that one exact wooden post, for whatever reason, that is much darker than the others. This could be a map error, and it's something that will probably change now that it's been pointed out, but it's something that I've noticed, and I can't unsee it now, and it is a thing, I guess. Probably won't be a thing by the time this video comes out, but it is a thing. It's there. It's darker for some reason, and I have no idea why, but it is what it is, and now you have to suffer with that too. I feel like it doesn't belong in the list, but I felt like I would add it anyway because I think it's kind of funny, and that has to do with this sign. That's right, we have more weirdities, oddities, whatever you want to say about signs. And that has to do with the fact that this sign is clearly pointing you to the barrel storage while being basically in the barrel storage. Like, it is so close to the barrel storage that it has no business being there. Maybe you could get away with it. Maybe it would make sense if it was over here, or maybe a little bit up this way, or somewhere down here, or a little bit more further over to the left. But with it being right there, it's like, it's hard to miss. If you're going up this way, even with the zoom level that I got right now, you're gonna see this sign of like, oh, where's that pointing me? And then you're gonna see the barrel storage and you're gonna be like, well, yeah, I saw the barrel storage. I could see that. You didn't have to point me at it. I could see it. And I think it's funny. It's something I noticed a long time ago, and ever since then, it's been a little bit of an inside joke where I make fun of it every now and again because it's so funny that it's so close to the barrel storage while being on the barrel storage. There isn't, I don't think there is, but I don't think there's anything else in the game that has a sign so close to the thing it's actually pointing at. So it's just a funny little thing to point at and laugh at because it's something that once you notice, you're never not going to notice it, and it's something that you might find a little bit of joy out of. So that pretty much does it for the video. I'm gonna chill out here in the barrels because barrels are nice. I do hope that you enjoyed, and I do hope that you aren't too mad at some of the things that I pointed out in this video. If you have anything that you've noticed about Ponytown that you don't think many people have noticed that will probably ruin their experience in the game, then let me know in the comments below because I will be as sure as heck to write it down and perhaps add it to a future list, a future video. And with that said, that is going to conclude the video. I do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all of those wonderful things like that, because when you do those wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.